See, the most widely used operating system is Windows, because Windows is a graphical user interface. So anybody they can easily understand, easy to learn, and easy to work. So in Windows, we have two types of operating systems. So one is client OS, another one is server OS. So client OS, Windows 10, Windows 8, Windows 7, Windows XP. So server operating systems are latest version 2019, 2016, 2012, 2008. So what is server, what is client? So servers provide resources to clients. The clients can access the resources from servers. For example, we are going to internet, we are downloading the songs, movies, or you are accessing some documents, you are downloading some documents. So from where you are downloading is from servers. So through internet, from server, whatever the resources you want to need, whatever the files or songs, whatever it may be, you are going to download. So like server provide resources to clients, clients access the resources from server. So like that, we have another operating system, that is Unix or Linux. So Unix or Linux both are same, so there is no difference. So Linux is a Unix like operating system, but Linux is a open source OS. So we have Unix servers are there. So Solaris, IBM AIX, HP Unix, SCO Unix, these are the flavors of Unix, but open source code not available. But Linux is developed in open source code. Anybody they can download the source kernel from internet. You can develop your own operating system. I can develop my own operating system. Like that, in Linux we have number of flavors. Those are Red Hat Linux, Ubuntu Linux, CentOS, Fedora Linux, SUSE Linux, Debian Linux. Like that, we have number of flavors in Linux. So the most widely used flavor, Red Hat Linux. So next to Ubuntu. So depending upon the requirement of your applications, they are going to choose the server, whether it is going to be deploy on Red Hat, whether it is going to be deploy on Ubuntu. Like that, they will select the servers. So the most widely used flavor in production environment, we are going to use Red Hat Linux operating system. So out of these flavors, we have more than 300 plus flavors are there in Linux, but these are the familiar flavors. So in Linux also we have server OS and desktop OS. So remember the point, server OS means, so you can see enterprise Linux, whether it is Red Hat Enterprise Linux, SUSE Enterprise Linux, Ubuntu Enterprise Linux, it means it is a server OS. Remember this point. So only Red Hat Linux, only Ubuntu Linux, only CentOS, these are the desktop operating systems. But most of the desktop operating systems like Windows, Windows 10, Windows 7, Windows 8. So generally, most of the desktop operating systems in Linux, so we are going to use Ubuntu Linux. Like Windows, it is also a desktop environment. So desktop purpose, you can use Ubuntu Linux. So in Ubuntu also we have Enterprise Linux is there. So Enterprise Linux means it is a server OS. So we are going to learn server administration. That is the reason we are going to learn RHEL, means Red Hat Enterprise Linux servers we are going to learn. So why the Linux operating systems using in the production environment? So what is the reason? Windows is a graphical user mode. Anybody they can easily understand, easy to learn. So easy to simply you can open whatever you want. You can open, you can work with Windows. But why the companies they are using Linux servers? Because Linux is a more secured operating system than Windows. So from whom you are providing the security? We are providing the security for the valuable crores of rupees databases. So if you take any company, like if you take any banks like SBI, like Andhra Bank, So Barclays Bank, HSBC, HDFC, insurance companies. So whatever the data they are having, so crores of customers. So crores of customers information is nothing but a database. So their information you have to manage securely. So for managing your crores of rupees databases securely, you have to go for Linux operating system, because all the valuable applications, valuable web servers, so valuable websites you are going to deploy on Linux servers only. So why the Linux operating system more secure than Windows? So here you have to know the structure of operating system. The Linux structure is, so sorry, Windows operating system structure, hardware. Hardware means, so you bought one laptop or desktop, that is nothing but a hardware. Top of that you install Windows, so Windows kernel, that is nothing but a OS. Top of that you are working, so you are a user. So this is the structure of Windows. Coming to the Linux, you bought a laptop or desktop, that is hardware. You install Linux kernel, that is nothing but operating system. So top of the Linux kernel we have a security layer is there, that is shell. So shell is the security layer in Linux between the user and kernel. So whatever the commands user is giving, first shell will read the command. If it is known command, if it is known application, so if it is known command, if it is known program only, the instruction is going to be kernel. Then the kernel will read an instruction, it will give the output to shell, shell will give the output to user. So between the, so between the user and kernel, we have a security layer in Linux, that is a shell. So shell is the security layer in Linux. But if you come into the Windows, see here, what user will tell, kernel will do. There is no security layer here. So whatever the commands you are going to run Windows, automatically the kernel will execute. That is the reason viruses will attack on Windows operating system. For example, if you have a virus in pen drive, so if I put into my laptop, automatically virus will attack, because Windows operating system identify the files with extension names. So like this, .exe, .dat, .bat, .mp3, .doc. .exe means executable files. .dat database files. .bat batch files. .mp3 media player files. .doc Microsoft Word. .dll dynamic link library files. Like that, Windows operating system can identify the files with the extension names, but Linux operating system identify the files with the type. So then we can understand. Now see the structure: hardware, Windows operating system structure, hardware, kernel, user. Linux operating system structure: hardware, kernel, shell, user. So shell is the security layer in Linux. Whenever anybody asks you the question, how do you differentiate the security between Windows and Linux? You can explain this structure. In Linux architecture, we have a shell. And if you come into the OS level, so architecture level, we have shell is there. Now come into OS level, for example, just now we discussed Windows operating system identify the files with extension names. So like .exe executable file. So you can open one notepad, you can write any program, you can save the file as abc.exe or xyz.exe. Now whatever the program you written, it will execute. Like that, whenever anybody writes a virus program, so if you open that file, automatically it will run. Like that, Windows auto.exe files also will execute. Auto.exe. So automatically, when you put in, when I put into the pen drive into my laptop, automatically the drive will open. When you inserted your CD or DVD, automatically it will open. So this auto.exe files will also allow in Windows operating system. That is the reason. If virus file is there, automatically if you insert, it will attack into your system. That is the reason the crores of rupees valuable databases we are going to run securely on securely on Linux operating system, because of in architecture level we have a shell and OS level permissions. So in Linux, when you create a file, automatically the permissions will apply. So just now we discussed Windows identify the files with extension names. But how the Linux operating system identify the files? Linux operating system identify the files with the type of file. Type of file means whether it is a empty file or ASCII text file or block special file or character special file, like this, or database file. So like this, Linux operating system identify the files with type, but Windows operating system identify the files with extension names. So next, OS level, when you are working with Linux, if you create a file, for example, there is a user Kapil. So there is a user Kapil. I created one user account by name of Kapil. So he logged into the server. He created one file. So when the user created a file, by default permissions will apply. So those permissions are divided into three portions. First one is user, next one is group, third portion is other. User means owner who created the file. He is having the permission read write. Then users group. For example, Kapil is a member of AWS group. So in AWS group, his own team members are there. So his own group members, they are having only read only permission. Next to other group members. So others means like AWS, you can have DevOps, Python, .NET, like this different managers, team leaders. We have different groups in the company. So they are all coming other group members. So they are having also read only permissions. See here, owner having read write permission, owner group members having read only permission, other group members also having read only permissions. Here thing is, whenever we are working with Linux operating system, if you send a file to me, for example, I am having only read permissions. I can't do anything, I can't modify, can't delete your data. But when we are working with Windows operating system, if you send a document to me, for example, if you send a resume to me, so that resume I can modify, I can delete, whatever it may be, I can do. So there is no file level permissions in Windows. There is a file level permissions in Linux. That is the reason the crores of valuable databases and applications and web servers we are going to deploy on Linux operating system because of security. So architecture level, we have a shell is there. OS level, you have file permissions are there. So this much of security is available in Linux. That is the reason we are going to use the Linux servers in production environment for managing your databases. So if you want to learn any courses like AWS, DevOps, IBM, middleware applications, WebSphere application, WebLogic servers, middleware, IBM middleware applications, and Oracle DBA database server, and big data, Hadoop. Like if you want to learn programmings like Python, PHP, Perl, shell scripting. See, if you want to go for cloud computing, if you want to go for middleware applications, if you want to learn the databases, so if you want to go for the programming level languages, you must have strong knowledge on Linux administration. Then you can perform very well when you are working on real-time environment. So before going to interview of these cloud computings, whatever it may be, first they will ask you the questions about the Linux commands. So you must have strong knowledge on Linux administration. Then you can perform very well on the real-time environments. So remember this thing. Now, so which topics we are going to learn in Linux administration? So the Linux administration is divided into two parts. First one is standalone administration. Next one is network administration. So in standalone administration, so we don't have any network concepts. So 80% of the interview questions, they will ask from the standalone administration only. So before going to learn standalone administration, first we are going to learn basics of Linux operating system. So basics means what is the structure of Linux file system, what is root file system structure, what is file system, what are the different types of file systems, so what is the compulsory partition to install the Linux, then after installation, so how to create the files, how to create directories, copying the files, copying the directories, moving the files, renaming the files, like this. All basic commands we are going to learn first few days. So after learning basic commands, then we are going to enter into the Linux administration classes. The first chapter, the first administration part 1, we are going to learn standalone administration. In this standalone administration, so we are going to learn installation of Linux operating system. How to install your Linux operating system? What is the operating system directory in Linux? What are the optionals? Like in Windows, operating system directory is C drive. So D drive, E drive, F drive, G drive, H drive, these are optionals. So how the optionals will come like in Linux? So which is compulsory slash, which are optionals? We are going to learn in our classes. Next, after installation of Linux, if you want to install any databases, any applications, how to create the new partitions in Linux, how to format the partitions, how to mount the partitions, like D drive in Windows, E drive in Windows, F drive in Windows, how to create separate partitions in Linux. We are going to discuss in disk management class. Next, booting process of Linux operating system. How your Linux operating system will boot. When you power on the system, so how the operating system will boot up to your login screen. So you are power on your system, like Windows also you can take. Just you are power on your laptop, your username and password it will ask, you are login to the your Windows operating system. Between that, so which process will run background, how many phases it will run, each phase what will happen, we are going to discuss in boot process of Linux operating system. This is the compulsory question in interview. Next, to different run levels in Linux. Like in Windows, we have different modes: safe mode with command prompt, safe mode with networking, last one good configuration. Like that, we have different modes in Windows. The same concept in Linux is different run levels. So which run levels are available in Linux? So each run level what happened? So which is your default run level? So this type of information we are going to learn in run levels class. Next to group management. So if you go for any company, we have a groups. Just now we discussed AWS group, DevOps groups, managers, team leaders, accounts group, like that. So how to create the groups, how to manage the groups, how to delete the groups, where the groups information stores, where the group passwords information stores. So everything, each and every command we are going to learn in group management class. Next to user management. This is also very important chapter in Linux because we are working with users only. So each and every user you have to create AWS group users, Java group users, DevOps group users, how to create the users, how to provide the home directories. All Oracle users, Oracle home directory, Hadoop users, Hadoop home directory, AWS users, AWS home directory, how to create the users, how to provide the home directories, how to manage the user passwords. This is very important. Password management of users. Minimum days required to password changes, maximum days required to password changes. So This password management also we are going to discuss in user management. Then monitoring of user accounts, how to monitor the users, so which user what he is doing, so which command he is running now, everything we can know. So in user management, monitoring commands. Next to quotas, how to restrict the users to use unlimited space on the disk. See, we have a Gmail account. The Gmail account quota is 15 GB. So once you reached your 15 GB quota, new mails will not arrive into your mail account. Then you have to delete whatever the unwanted mails are there. You can delete. Then the space is free. Then you can get the mails. Like that, when we are working in real-time environments, unnecessarily some users they can copy unnecessary data like movies or songs, whatever it may be. So that is the reason some other users they are getting the disk space problems. So as a Linux administrator, you have to restrict. Depending upon the usage of user, you can assign 1 GB space, 500 MB space, 200 MB space. So then you can restrict. So this class we are going to discuss in user quotas. Next to swap management. This is called memory management. So swap is nothing but a virtual memory. So some of the disk space in hard disk use as a memory, that is nothing but a swap memory. In Windows, automatically it will take virtual memory while installing the operating system. In Linux, as a administrator, you have to mention manually how much disk space you are using as a temporary memory. That is depending upon the requirement we are going to select, we are going to discuss in our other classes. So this is memory management, important chapter. Next to process management. Like in Windows C, right click, go to task manager. You can see here number of processes are running. Google Chrome is running, GoToMeeting is running, Office, Microsoft Office, PowerPoint is running, Notepad is running. See how much CPU percentage it is utilizing, how much memory percentage it is utilizing, how much disk usage it is utilizing. Like that, everything you can monitor by using these processes. This is simply in Windows. Right click task manager, you can select the process. But Linux, that complete process management, we are going to use command line only. Which process are running on the server, how much CPU utilization is going on, how much memory utilization is going on. So everything by commands we are going to discuss. So in interview point of view, they will ask particular, I want to see the particular process, what is the command. I want to make it process background, what is the command. I want to see all the process with CPU load average memory, what is the command. Like that, everything we have to do with command line only. Next to RPM, Red Hat Package Manager. So this is to installing the new packages in Linux and upgrading the packages, existing packages. And if you want to remove unnecessary packages, how to remove. Like in Windows, add remove programs, you can add new programs. If you want to remove any program, you can select and remove. Like that, the same concept in Linux is RPM. Next to M, Yellow Dog updated modified. This is a online package manager utility. Like in Windows, we have a Windows update server is there, WSUS in administration Windows. In our laptops also, if you connect to internet, you can get new updates here pop up. There is a new update of Adobe Acrobat Reader. Do you want to install now or later? Like that, pop up messages will come. Like in Linux, the same server we have to set up, that is M server. This is online package manager. Next to logical volume manager. So it is also a very important chapter. We can combine multiple physical disks as a single logical device to store the more data. Depending upon the file system capacity, that much of hard disk you can combine as a one single disk. So that is nothing but a LVM concept. So we are going to discuss here. Next to backup and restore. This is a daily task in any environment. You have to take the backup of everyday updated files. You can take the backup of entire servers every 1 week or 1 month. So if the data is corrupted, how to restore, what are the backup tools in Linux, we are going to discuss here. Next to scheduling jobs. So automation of jobs, everyday tasks I cannot perform each and every time, I cannot type the commands. So I can schedule every day evening 6 p.m. take the updated files of Oracle backup. Every month, first date and 15th date, what the users are doing, how many users are logged in, what they are doing. I want to take it to automation of task. So system health, how is my system activity report, network statistics, IO statistics, everything I can take the I can configure in scheduling jobs. So these are the standalone topics. Here there is no network single word. 80% of the entry questions they will ask from these standalone chapters. So next we are entering into networking. So here everything is in network and all are servers. Configuration of Linux operating system in the network. So how to configure the telnet server. So configuration of Linux operating system in the network means how to assign the host name to Linux OS, how to permanent it, how to assign the IP address, how to permanent it, how to configure telnet server. For example, my server is Linux, clients are Windows. So generally servers are Linux, clients are Windows. So from Windows, I want to log in my Linux server. How to log in? You have to configure telnet server. Then SSH. Nowadays, we are using SSH because telnet is not a secured connection. That is the reason they introduced SSH. Through SSH, how to log into Linux server? So SSH will not support Windows. That is the reason we are going to download the Putty software. So by using Putty, see here, this is the Putty software, simple file. So select SSH, give the IP address of Linux, you can log into the Linux OS. So like that, how to set up the SSH server, how to log into Linux server, we are going to discuss in this class. Then FTP server configuration, how to configure and manage FTP server in Linux. So FTP is a file server to download and upload the files. Next to NFS. So NFS is an online file server to share the resources to Linux operating systems. It will not support Windows. So FTP supports Windows and Linux. Next to Samba server. How to share the resources from Linux to Windows. So Windows to Windows, DFS some concept is there, distributed file system in Windows Server Administration. But Linux to Windows, how to share the data. So you have to configure Samba server in the network. Then DNS server, dynamic domain name service. So you can remember the systems and websites with names, but we cannot remember with the addresses, IP address. We have crores of websites. So you cannot remember that much of IP addresses with numbers, but you can remember with names, gmail.com, google.com, yahoo.com, reddit.com, some xyz.com, like you can remember. But when I give IP addresses, this is this site, this is this site, every time you cannot remember. For that name resolution, you are going to configure DNS server in the network. You can see sometimes when you connect to the internet, problems will come. Your site cannot be resolved. DNS is down, some errors will come. So DNS is very important for name resolution. Then Apache web server, how to configure the websites in the system, how to configure IP based websites, name based website, single IP address, multiple websites, single IP, single website, dedicated website. So port to based websites. So everything we are going to discuss in Apache web server. Next to NIS, naming information service, like in Windows Active Directory domain services, we have one concept is there, centralization of administration. Centralizedly one server can manage thousands of servers. That is nothing but a NIS. Next to DHCP, dynamic host configuration protocol. It will automatically assign the IP addresses to clients. Now we have so many mobiles, so you can get one IP address, I can get one IP address. So these type of IP addresses is assigned by DHCP server. Next to Linux Kickstart server, how to install Linux operating system through network. So we are going to discuss in this class. Through network, I want to install 50 Linux operating systems in 1 hour. So I can install, I can configure one Linux Kickstart server, automatically all the servers will install. Next to RAID levels. So redundant array of inexpensive or independent disks. So multiple disks we can combine as a single device also here. In LVM also same concept, but in LVM the data writes one by one disk. But in RAID levels you have to tell how to write the data. Data can write parallelly, data can write sequential order, or data can write sequentially with parity information or mirroring same data can write on multiple disks. So as your wish, you can write the data. So depending upon the requirement, you can select which RAID level you are going to configure in your servers. So this is the entire course we are going to learn in Linux administration. So first few days we are going to learn the basics of Linux. Then our administration part will start. The administration is divided into two parts. One is standalone administration, second one is network administration. So anybody have any doubts, please ask me. If any doubts, please ask me by Mr. Govardhan Reddy and Kapil Chaudhary. Yeah, tell me, Bhaiya.
Sir, notes to be provided or no?
So every day, whatever the course we are going to learn, we will send a video link to you.
Okay, sir.
Every day's class, we will send a video. Then you can see the video, you can write down the notes while practicing. So afterwards, we will send a real-time entry questions, so those notes will come. Okay? Is there any other doubts?
Please note extra PPTs will be provided.
Sorry?
Sir, there's no extra PPT is provided.
So every day, see, like how today I explained, every day we are going to explain with commands only, because Linux operating system is a command line mode. This is not a graphical mode. Click, 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 click. So every day, so what is the command, what is the output will come practically. So you can see the videos, you can write down the notes. So from PPTs, we cannot teach Linux. So
How
if
many
it,
days to complete this course?
so if it is a AWS, if it is a Windows Server administration, we can go for PPTs. But Linux is completely with command line mode. So you have to learn each and every command with terminals only. So PPTs by PPTs you cannot learn.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Sir, how many days to complete this course?
So it will take 30 days time to complete the entire course. With basics 1 month course.
What will be the cost?
Okay.
And what will be the cost?
Sorry, I am not hearing.
Sir, what will be the cost of this course?
Course fees.
Yes, sir.
So course fees you have to contact to that Durga software people. Okay, they will tell the fees and schedule. Tomorrow onwards we are going to start basic commands. Okay, course fees everything they will send to you information.
Sir, if you don't mind, sir, how many students?
Yeah, everything they will support. That mail ID is there, na? You can send a mail to them. They will give the complete information. That content also. Just now I explained the content. That is also they will send.
Okay.
Okay,
Thank
sir.
you, sir.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye, Gordon Reddy.